Hey Nancy, it's Laura. I just wanted to show you a little video of my process for how I do sourdough, just in case that's helpful for you to see it. So I'm starting with, I activated my starter already. This is my starter that I took to your house. And I put in here the 30 grams of starter, 125 of water, and 140 of flour. It's nice and thick. So I'm gonna let that activate. This is the morning for school. It's 6:49 a.m. So I'm just gonna let this sit all day. Probably by the time I get home from school or this afternoon, it'll be doubled about to here. So that's the start. Okay, have a good day. Okay, I almost forgot to record, but my starter grew while I was at work. It doubled in size from about the top of this to like here. So now I'm gonna put, I got my 345 grams of water. These are my ratios, not what's in the recipe, but what's in the note. Okay, so it's gonna be 345 grams of water and 200 grams of this, okay? Okay, and my recipe ratios call for 33 grams of olive oil, 33 grams of olive oil, and then 13 grams of salt. Timer. It's after school, by the way. It's like 4:45 whenever I noticed that my starter was ready. So I'm pouring in my regular table. I have sea salt. It's fine sea salt, but I don't think it really matters. So 13 grams of salt. 14, that's okay. And then I'm gonna give this a little stir. This is just my preference. I just like to stir it up a little bit before I put my flour in. It's not gonna break apart completely because that starter is so thick. That's okay. Okay, and now my ratio calls for 600 grams of flour. Oops, I got the wrong flour out. I have this all-purpose kind. I'm going to use the bread flour instead. Okay, I got my 600 grams of flour. 600. Now I'm just going to mix this. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, but you get the picture. So I'm gonna mix this. Okay, once your dough looks like this, it's the shaggy state. Often you'll see it written like that until your dough is shaggy. And so I'm gonna cover this. This is in the recipe. This is where I learned it. You cover this for 30 minutes to autolyze, is what it's called. And then I'll show you what we're gonna do after 30 minutes of it just sitting. Okay, I let it sit for 30 minutes.
You're live.
I don't want to do my face, Brian, just the bread. I'm taking this off and I'm going to save this because I'm going to use it multiple times later. So now that it's sat for 30 minutes, I'm just going to make it into a ball. I'm like kind of turning it over on itself like this. Kind of like I'm kneading it until it takes a shape. Trying to get all the bits off the bottom. So this is my formed ball. It's really sticky.
The ball.
Don't pay attention to Brian. Okay, and then I'm gonna let this sit for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna do a stretch and fold. Turn it off. Turn it off. Okay, Brian was fired from being a cameraman. It's been about 15 or more like 20 minutes because I was eating dinner, and so I just finished dinner. This is called my stretch and fold. So I'm gonna like pick up the dough in the middle like this, stretch it, and then fold it over on top of itself. And then I'm gonna turn the bowl and do the same thing again. And then this is very thick, so it's gonna come up like this out of the bowl. So I'm just gonna stretch and fold. Turn, stretch, and fold. A few times. You'll notice that the dough gets more elastic and stretchy and less sticky every time we do this. This step is technically also optional because sometimes I don't have time to do this and it never gets done and the bread still comes out fine. So it's just an extra step. It's supposed to make it more, have more like, I guess, bubbles in it. To be more chewy and I don't know, better texture, I guess is what they say. So I'm gonna leave it for another 15 minutes and do it again. Okay, now I'm back for my second set of stretch and folds. I'm gonna grab it from the middle and just kind of fold it over itself, turn, pick it up, stretch, fold. You can kind of see it's less sticky. More stretchy. Okay. Still sticky though. All right. Now I'm gonna wait 15 more minutes and do one last set of stretch and folds. Okay, this is my last set of stretch and folds. Okay. Now it's way less sticky than it was in the beginning. I don't have nearly as much on my hands as I did before. So now I'm just gonna put this to rest. I'm gonna use my little, I've been using the same cover the whole time. Some people use a towel. Some people say to use a damp towel, but I find this works just fine and I can just reuse it. Basically until I bake the loaf, I'm gonna be using this same sheet of plastic to keep recovering it. But all right, so we'll see this again tomorrow morning. Right now it's 6:15, so it's perfect timing to sit 12 hours before I can get back to it. Okay, it's the next morning. It's exactly 6:15. I don't know how I timed that so perfectly. Just got done working out and my bread rose. The dough got so big, sticking to the plastic. I got a little bit of flour on the counter. Okay, it's facing down. Doesn't take much flour. Now I'm just gonna form it, kind of fold it in on itself all around until it makes a ball. Turn it over. And then now is where I'm gonna try to make it taut on the top or tight on the top. I'm gonna scoop my hands kind of underneath it and pull it towards me on the counter. Turn it and do it again. Scoop, pull, and turn. Okay, so now this is a very good form. So I'm gonna put my plastic over it again and let it rest on the counter for 30 minutes while I go get ready for work. Okay, so now it's been 30 minutes later and I got ready. Put my face on camera now. So I'm gonna reshape my dough. If you want to, if you're not doing any mix-ins or anything, you could just tuck it back into itself all over again and, you know, do your tuck and pulls again. That works. I'm gonna show you how to laminate it though. You can do this whether you have mix-ins or not. This is the opportunity. If you want to add chocolate chips, cinnamon sugar, cheese and garlic, rosemary garlic, whatever you want to put in for your mix-ins. Okay, so see how I opened it up. I'm gonna slap it on the counter to kind of stretch it out to make like a square or rectangle. So let's say I was gonna do chocolate chips. I could just sprinkle chocolate chips all over this, and then, or I'm not gonna do anything like I am right now. This is gonna be plain. So fold it over like that. I could do more chocolate chips if I wanted to. Fold this side over. Okay. I could even do more chocolate chips if I wanted to, supposedly, if I was doing a mix-in. And then you're gonna take one end and roll it up like a sleeping bag. Okay. Put you back over here. So now you got this little, it looks kind of like a snail, I guess. The idea is to pinch the sides that are like a spiral and close it up. Okay, and now I'm gonna do my tuck and pulls again. This, turn it, and again. I'm gonna try to pinch these ends. It's really important if you have mix-ins stuck in there that you want those to be like closed as much as you can. Okay, now it's back to being like a ball. Now, this is a banneton basket. Now, this is where I was saying, if you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can use a bowl with a towel in it. Same thing. I just got these because I don't like having my bowls tied up in my fridge because I'm gonna let this rest in the fridge. So I like the banneton baskets just because it's something different. I don't have to use my big bowls. But get a bowl, put a towel in it, and then this is rice flour. It says gluten-free flour, but you look on the ingredients, it says rice flour is the first ingredient. So you do not have to have this. You could just use regular flour if you want to. They say, whoever, you know, they is, that rice flour is better because it is less likely to stick to your bowl and it gives it this nice white look on the outside, like whenever you bake it. So I like it because my scoring patterns come out more clearly because it's got this like white background because of this flour. So that's why I got it. And so I just sprinkle it in there so that it doesn't stick. I've never had a problem with it sticking to the bowl. Even when I used regular flour, I didn't have a problem with it sticking, but whatever. Okay, so this is the top, right? This is the side that's all tight because I've been doing this. Now I'm gonna make sure the top goes down. I'm gonna flip it over. Okay, now it's in my banneton basket. Okay, and I'm gonna take the same, accidentally stopped recording, but I just was gonna say I took the same plastic that I've been using to cover up this bowl, the banneton basket. And now this is gonna go in the fridge just like that until I get home from school, and this evening I'll probably pull it out and bake it tonight. Okay, it's afternoon, it's 3:45 after school, and I took my basket out of the fridge. I could have left it in there if I wanted to till tomorrow morning or even tomorrow afternoon. It can stay in there a few days at the most, probably. And what they say is that the longer you leave it in the fridge, the more the gluten breaks down to be easier to digest.
I just looked it up online. It doesn't say that you can ever get it to be truly gluten-free, but the gluten strands break down the more you leave it to ferment in the fridge, and making it easier to digest to people who are sensitive to gluten. That's all I can say. It's not like it's gluten-free totally. But I'm gonna take my parchment paper. My oven is preheating, by the way. So while my oven's preheating, I'm getting this out of the basket. Paper over it and turn it over. Now, there's still some rice flour on it, but I'm gonna put more rice flour to make it even and white. You could do this with regular flour as well. This is just to make it look pretty. No other reason that I know of. Okay. Now, I'm going to I'm gonna score it first. This is a lame. You can use a knife, I guess, or a razor of some sort. So there are decorative scores, and there is a major score that you need to do. The big major score is to help it expand. The decorative ones can be shallow, and they're just for looks. So I like to do like a little cross diamond pattern. I go like down diagonally one way, then I go back the other way diagonally. So you can see my little diamonds that are shaped. And then I'm gonna go a big deep cut on this, like a curve, all the way down. I'm gonna get it nice and deep. And this is how it expands upward and grows taller and gets bigger, because the air has somewhere to escape. If there's no big deep cut, it could be more dense. It doesn't grow as much. Now I'm going to put this into my Dutch oven. Oops. You can use any cast iron or stainless steel pot. And put my lid on. Now I'm going to wait for my oven to finish preheating to 450. Okay, I just popped my bread in the oven, and instructions say lower the temperature from 450 down to 400. And then I'm going to let that cook for 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back later and take off the lid. Right now the lid is on. Okay, this has been in here for 20 minutes. Now I'm gonna take off the lid. So I wanted to show you, sometimes I will cut the bread again with the scoring lame, just so that it can really expand. So sometimes it looks like it's not expanding enough, and I cut it again. So now I'm gonna leave this for 40 minutes, and it should be done, uncovered. Just wanted to show you that. I'm gonna cut it one more time again, just to, because why not? I want this to expand as much as it can. So that'll get bigger and bigger. Okay, it's been 40 more minutes, so my bread is done. If you're not sure, you can always take the temperature with the meat thermometer. It should say at least 198 Fahrenheit. I've just been doing this so many times. I know that 20 minutes lid on, 40 minutes lid off, and it's done. You can see my scoring here. This wide one, that's the first score that I did. And then you can see the second and third one, it expanded a little more and then more. So that's why I cut it more times while it's in the oven, just to show you. So I'm gonna let this cool, and completely, before I cut it, I like to slice mine all at once and then put it in the freezer so I can take out a couple slices at a time and toast it or make a grilled cheese sandwich or whatever. So there it is. That's how she looks.